Welcome to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. On this show, we use the Triggator triangle, budget, save, and pay off debt to help you build a spending plan that fits your life, grow your savings with purpose, and knock out debt with confidence. Today, we're diving into something you feel long before you ever see it in your bank account: the mental weight of money stress. If you've ever had that knot in your stomach before opening a bill or felt your mind spinning with what ifs about the future, you're not alone. Money touches every part of life. Our routines, our relationships, our decisions, even our sleep. And when finances feel uncertain or chaotic, your brain does what human brains do. It tries to protect you by going into overdrive. But here's the good news. You can learn to calm that storm. You can build a mindset and a system that give your brain the safety signals it's been begging for. Think of today's episode as building your Peace Toolkit, a set of habits, perspectives, and supports that help strengthen your mind as much as your money. Research backs this up. A 2023 study from the American Psychological Association found that 82% of adults report money as a significant source of stress. And that chronic financial anxiety can increase overwhelm, reduce problem-solving skills, and even impact physical health. But the study also found something encouraging. People who create predictable financial routines, like weekly paycheck spending plan reviews or a simple savings rhythm, experience significantly lower stress levels even when their income doesn't change. That means peace isn't something you wait for. It's something that you train for. And today, we're going to walk through exactly how to do that. Let's get into it. Understanding the roots of money stress. Money stress doesn't start in your wallet. It starts in your brain. Before a bill is overdue or a balance gets too low, your body is already reacting. Your shoulders tense, your breathing changes, and your mind starts to swirl with what ifs. In this first section, we're breaking down why your brain responds this way and how you can start retraining it to feel safe even when finances feel uncertain. The goal here isn't to judge yourself or dig up guilt. It's to understand what's happening internally so you can take back control. Once you know the triggers and patterns, you can build a healthier, more resilient mindset that makes managing your finances feel more peaceful, not more overwhelming. Why money stress hits so hard? Money isn't just math, it's meaning. It represents security, identity, opportunity, and sometimes even worth. So when money feels tight or unpredictable, your brain often interprets that as a threat, just like it would an actual danger. Your fight or flight response flips on. That's why something as simple as checking your bank balance or opening a bill can feel strangely emotional. And if you grew up in a home where money was tense, chaotic, or unpredictable, those patterns can follow you into adulthood, even if your income has changed. Here's the empowering part. Your stress response isn't a character flaw. It's your brain trying to help you survive. The trick is learning to teach your brain that you're safe and that you now have tools to navigate financial challenges with clarity. What stress does to your thinking. When you're stressed out about money, your brain literally shifts into a different mode. A 2019 study from the National Endowment of Financial Education found that people experiencing financial stress showed decreased working memory and reduced decision-making clarity. That means when you're anxious, it becomes harder to think rationally, plan ahead, or evaluate options. In other words, money stress makes money management harder. That's why you might avoid looking at your bank account. That's why creating a paycheck spending plan might feel daunting, not because you lack discipline, but because your brain is overwhelmed. Understanding this makes it easier to extend compassion towards yourself and focus on building calmer systems one step at a time. The good news, the same study found that creating small, predictable financial habits even simple routines, significantly improves cognitive function around money. Your brain loves predictability. When you give it that structure, even in small doses, your stress response quiets down. Spotting your unique stress triggers. Everyone has different financial stress triggers, and identifying yours is the crucial step towards peace. Think of it like a personal stress map. Common triggers can include unplanned expenses, especially ones that hit all at once, opening the mailbox when you expect a bill, checking your banking app, seeing a notification from a creditor, unexpected changes in income, or looking at a debt balance. But triggers can be internal too. Maybe it's feeling unprepared, feeling behind compared to others, feeling ashamed of past decisions, fear of disappointing someone you love. Once you can pinpoint those top 2 or 3 triggers, you can create specific and repeatable tools to calm those moments. For example, if opening bills feels heavy, you might create a weekly money peace session with a predictable time, a structured checklist, and a simple grounding practice before you begin. Naming the stressor takes away its power. A trigger identified is a trigger weakened. How Triggator tools calm money chaos. This is where the Triggator triangle becomes a true stress reducer. Budget, save, pay off debt. Not as a pressure system, but as a peace system that your brain can rely on. Your spending plan isn't just a budgeting method. It's a safety signal. It tells your mind, we know what's coming. We have structure. That predictability alone reduces mental noise and emotional overwhelm. The save side holds the 4 funds that protect your mental well-being, the peace of mind funds. Your Alligator Fund. Alligator expenses are those recurring, non-monthly costs like car maintenance, school supplies, insurance renewals that surprise people only because they weren't planned for. When you start assigning money to these ahead of time, your brain shifts from panic to peace. This is where you feed those predictable expenses so that they don't jump out of the water and bite you later. It's your calm before chaos fund, the one that turns yesterday's emergencies into tomorrow's non-events. Your emergency fund. This is for true emergencies, job loss, medical situations, major repairs. It's not flashy, but it's powerful. It tells your brain, even if life throws something big at us, we're not defenseless. Your fun fund. Yes, fun is part of financial peace. This guilt-free fund gives you the room to enjoy life intentionally. When joy has a place in the plan, you stop feeling bad about wanting good things. Your retirement fund, your future paycheck. This is your long-term peace. Every contribution is a vote of confidence to your future self. It says, we're building a stable tomorrow, one step at a time. Each fund plays a different emotional role, but together they form a peace-building system that replaces fear with clarity. Finally, your debt payoff plan quiets the noise of uncertainty. Debt stops being a cloud hanging over you and becomes an organized, step-by-step pathway forward. When your brain sees a clear direction, anxiety fades. Predictability is peace, and the Triggator triangle gives you the most predictable financial rhythm you've ever had. Remember the meme of the cartoon dog sitting in a burning room, sipping from his cup while calmly saying, "This is fine"? It's become famous because it perfectly captures what financial stress often feels like. Even everything around you is on fire, but you're trying to hold it together. But here's the twist. Unlike that poor dog, you actually have the ability to put out the flames. You're not stuck pretending everything is okay while the walls burn down. The framework of the Triggator triangle gives you the water hose: clarity, planning, and predictability. When you start naming your triggers and building systems around them, the fire shrinks. Over time, it disappears entirely. The room becomes calm again, and you're no longer pretending. You're genuinely okay. Now that you understand what's fueling the money stress and how your brain responds to financial uncertainty, it's time to build your Peace Toolkit, a set of habits and practices that bring calm into your day-to-day financial life. Building your Peace Toolkit, habits that calm financial chaos. If the last section helped you understand why money stress hits so hard, this section gives you the tools to protect your peace. Not someday, not when your income grows, but starting right now. Think of this as creating your personal Peace Toolkit. Simple, grounding habits that signal safety to your brain, bring clarity to your finances, and build momentum towards emotional and financial resilience. Money stress doesn't disappear through willpower. It fades when you create repeatable rhythms that tell your mind and body, we're okay, we're prepared, we're moving forward. The tools in this section aren't complicated, and they don't require perfection. They just require consistency. Let's build your toolkit. The Peace Ritual, a weekly routine that settles your mind. One of the quickest, most powerful ways to reduce financial anxiety is establishing a peace ritual, a short, predictable check-in where you calmly review your finances. No chaos, no rushing, no shame, just information and clarity. Your peace ritual can be simple. 10 minutes once a week to develop the habit. After 90 days, every paycheck can work. You do it the same time, the same place, with the same checklist and the same calming pre-routine. Start with a grounding step. Maybe it's a short prayer, a deep breath, or jotting down one thing that you're grateful for. Then follow a gentle checklist. First, look at your accounts and match your plan with actual spending. Second, update your paycheck spending plan. Third, check your Alligator plan. Fourth, assign money to save side funds. Fifth, review any upcoming expenses. The goal isn't to fix everything in one session. It's to build a sense of stability. Rhythms calm your brain. Predictability reduces fear. And when you maintain this ritual, even during tough financial seasons, your stress response shrinks because the unknown becomes the known. Small wins, big peace, the psychology of micro progress. Financial peace isn't created in huge leaps. It's built with micro progress, tiny steps that stack into confidence over time. Examples of micro wins include assigning $10 to a peace of mind fund, marking one paid off debt payment, catching an Alligator expense before it hits, saying no to small impulse buys, doing your peace ritual even when you don't want to. These tiny actions are powerful because your brain is wired to respond to completion. When you create a tiny pattern of small victories, you build emotional momentum, something that fuels long-term peace far more effectively than occasional big wins. Never miss twice, the habit protector. This is the perfect place to bring in James Clear's never miss twice principle from Atomic Habits. The idea is simple but powerful. Missing once is an accident. Missing twice is the start of a new pattern. This principle belongs in your Peace Toolkit because it removes the guilt from imperfection. You can miss your peace ritual. You can skip updating your spending plan. You can forget to feed an Alligator category. That's life. That's normal. That's human. But never miss twice gives you a compassionate reset button. If yesterday was chaotic, today is your comeback. If you blew your grocery budget this week, next week is your reset. If you avoided your banking app on Monday, you check it Tuesday. This mindset protects your habits from collapsing under guilt. It allows you to stay consistent over time, which is infinitely more valuable than being perfect in the short term. Here's the emotional tie-in. When you train your brain to expect recovery instead of perfection, money stress loses its power. You replace self-criticism with resilience. You replace panic with patterns. You replace failure language with forward motion. Never miss twice doesn't just preserve your habits, it strengthens your peace. The check-in questions that quiet the noise. Your Peace Toolkit isn't just about money, it's about mindset. Every time you check in with your finances, ask yourself these 4 grounding questions. What is actually true right now? This stops catastrophic thinking and brings you back to the present. What is within my control today? Maybe it's updating your paycheck spending plan, feeding an alligator category, or sending $5 to your emergency fund. What small win can I create in the next 10 minutes? Micro wins build momentum and confidence. What support do I need? A spouse, a friend, a mentor, or even revisiting your peace of mind funds for reassurance. These questions ground your thinking and interrupt the spiral of fear. They train your brain to approach money with clarity instead of panic. Remember that iconic scene in The Matrix when Neo finally sees the bullets coming towards him? Not as a blur, not as chaos, but as individual moments that he can respond to. Everything slows down. He leans, shifts, breathes, and chooses his next move with total clarity. That's exactly what your Peace Toolkit does for your financial stress. When money feels overwhelming, it can feel like those bullets are flying at you all at once. Unexpected bills, upcoming alligators, debt payments, life changes. But when you build consistent habits, practice your peace ritual, celebrate micro wins, and apply the never miss twice principle, you shift into your own version of bullet time. The chaos doesn't disappear, but you stop reacting in panic. You start responding with intention. Your toolkit slows the moment so you can actually see what's coming and decide what your next step is with confidence. That's what real financial peace feels like. Clarity in the middle of motion. Consistency beats perfection. Let's be honest, this is where most money plans fall apart. Not because you don't care, not because you're lazy, and definitely not because you're bad with money. It usually falls apart because somewhere along the way, you miss a step, and then you decide you've blown the whole thing. You overspend one paycheck, you forget to log a transaction for a week, an alligator expense pops up and throws you off your paycheck spending plan, and suddenly the voice inside your head says, well, I guess I'll start again next month. But here's the truth. Progress doesn't require perfection. It requires return. What separates people who build lasting financial momentum from people who stay stuck isn't flawless execution. It's their ability to come back quickly after a miss. Why messing up isn't the problem. Most people think the problem is the mistake itself. The overspend, the skipped savings transfer, the credit card swipe that you wish you could undo. But that's not exactly the problem. The real problem is what happens after the mistake. When you treat one misstep like total failure, you create an all or nothing mindset. Your paycheck spending plan stops feeling like a guide and starts feeling like a test that you either pass or fail. And nobody wants to keep taking a test that they feel like they're going to fail. In the Triggator triangle, budget, save, pay off debt, none of those pillars require perfection. They require direction. A plan that you return to works better than a perfect plan you abandon. Saving a little consistently beats saving a lot once and then quitting. Debt payoff momentum is built by showing up again, not by never slipping. So instead of asking, did I mess up? The better question becomes, how fast did I get back on track? How fast did I get back on track? That's the muscle that we're building here. Shrinking the gap between slip and recovery. Instead of thinking in terms of missing or not missing, let's talk about something useful, the recovery gap. The recovery gap is the amount of time between when something goes off plan and when you actively re-engage your paycheck spending plan. For example, for some people, that gap is one paycheck. For others, it's 6 months. And that gap is where progress leaks out. Here's the key insight. Your financial momentum is determined more by the size of your recovery gap than the size of your mistake. Overspending $200 one paycheck isn't what hurts you. Letting that overspend turn into, I'll look at my money later for 3 pay cycles is what compounds the damage. The goal then isn't to eliminate mistakes, it's to shorten the gap. Practically, this means building a default response for when life happens, not a punishment, a response. Here are some examples. If a paycheck goes sideways, I'll review the plan within 24 hours. If I skip a savings transfer, I'll resume automatically on the next paycheck without catch-up guilt. If an expense surprises me, I'll log it, label it, make it an alligator, and move forward. This turns recovery into a habit, not a heroic act of willpower. You're no longer relying on motivation to restart. You've already decided what restart looks like. That's how consistency becomes automatic. Think about those classic Rocky training montages and his fights. Rocky doesn't start out polished. He stumbles, he misses punches, he gets knocked down. But every montage shows the same thing. He gets back up and keeps training. No one watches Rocky and says, wow, he missed that punch, guess it's over. We cheer because progress is messy but persistent. Your money journey works the same way. It isn't about never getting knocked down. The win is the standing up faster every time. Cue the Eye of the Tiger music. As we get ready to wrap up, here's the big idea. Your money plan doesn't need you to be flawless. It needs you to be faithful to the process. Today, we walked through something deeper than dollars. We explored how mind, your habits, and your support systems shape your financial peace. Think back to our 2 big metaphors. Neo's bullet time, slowing chaos so that you can respond instead of react. Rocky's training montages, imperfect moves stacking into unstoppable momentum. Your Peace Toolkit, your weekly rituals, peace of mind funds, never miss twice mindset, and grounding questions gives you the same power. You've learned how to slow down the overwhelm, breathe through the hard moments, and build consistency that outlasts setbacks. You're not waiting for peace someday, you're building it today. One calm, intentional step at a time. You are writing your internal money story from I'm behind to I'm becoming stronger every week. Today's challenge is simple but powerful and all about locking in consistency by making your first financial toolkit move, something small, simple, and doable. Choose one micro win. Pick something that takes under 3 minutes. Move $5 to a peace of mind fund. Label yesterday's transactions. Open your paycheck spending plan and adjust one line. Log one alligator expense. Then name one support you need. Do you need clarity, accountability, a breather? Write it down. Today I need fill in the blank to feel steady. This anchors your emotions before you act. Set your first never miss twice reset. Decide right now, if I miss a day or slip up later this week, my reset action will be fill in the blank. Hint, choose something tiny like checking your balance or feeding the Alligator Fund. Your goal isn't perfection. Your goal is return. One micro win today plants the seed for a calmer, clearer financial week. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you. Which part of money stress hits you the hardest right now? What's one Peace Toolkit habit that you want to build this week? Which metaphor resonated more with you? Bullet time or rocky. Email me at podcast@triggator.com or message me on Instagram, Facebook, or X at Triggator. If this episode helped you, make sure you follow the show to keep building your Peace Toolkit one calm, consistent step at a time. Leave a review, especially if today's episode helped you feel less alone in your money stress. Share this episode with a friend who's juggling financial overwhelm and needs a dose of clarity and confidence. And don't forget to follow @Triggator on social media for encouragement, tips, and behind-the-scenes insight. Want early access to the Triggator app beta? Email podcast@triggator.com with beta access in the subject line, and I will add you to the list. And lastly, make sure that you visit Triggator.com and download the free Triggator ebook, your guide to building financial peace with simple, steady systems. Next time, we're turning tax time into calm time. We'll walk through the key 2026 tax changes that actually matter for real families, what to do if you owe, and how to turn any refund, big or small, into meaningful progress. Whether that means strengthening your peace of mind funds or accelerating your debt payoff with a debt snowball. We'll learn how to use tax season as a confidence building moment instead of a stress spike. If you've ever felt overwhelmed or unsure during tax season, next week's episode will help you breathe easier and move forward with clarity. Peace of mind doesn't come from having perfect finances. It comes from practicing steady steps with a clear mind and a hopeful heart. Keep slowing the moment. Keep getting back up. And keep choosing your next move. You're building a financial life that feels calm, confident, and yours. Thanks for listening to Master Your Money, Budgeting, Saving, and Debt-Free Living. I'm your host, Nate Tanner. See you next time.